dice, roll them twice. I bet it all on my life. I've been thugging, getting to this money, bitch.
This all of my life.
Dropping that script to jar, trying to get back an extra 50. Cook a hole inside of the water, jump back an extra 50. Shooting niggas nines all the time, that's an extra 50.
What'd he say?
This all of my life.
Come fuck with me.
Serving out the window, this way you pull up and
Place your order at.
Catching, calling, throwing J's, Drew Brees. It's like I'm a quarterback.
Listen,
feeling soggy from
I ain't gonna keep giving you this game, right? But you tuned in to the me personally, man, podcast where if I say something wrong, I can't, because if I did, I didn't. You see what I'm saying? So like, before we go any further, right, I know the vibrations, this crazy, right? Because the vibes high. I know y'all seen at the beginning, right? I was smiling, I was laughing like a motherfucker, man. Because the vibrations high, right? But I want y'all to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share, hit that, it's free to do all this. You know what I mean? And you tuned in to Bread Bag Jones with 3 G's, right? And I got a special guest today, right? And the reason why I say special, right? Because like, this is a special plant, because we all plants, right? And it's a very special plant because she in the cosmos. I know the word been invented, but I just want everybody to know, like, it's a different form of it with me. Without further ado, right? I don't introduce people. They introduce themselves, because that's the universe.
Hey, I'm Paris Lee. I'm a cosmetologist and a co-owner of a barbershop salon on the west side of Cincinnati. It's called K-Styles Barbershop and Salon. We're located at 4403 Glenway Avenue. And I was invited to the Me Personally podcast because that's my guy. As soon as we linked up, you know, it was a genuine energy, cool, with like-minded people. He said he wanted to holler at me, so let's talk, see what we got going.
And that's gonna be at the bottom of the screen. Everything where you can find the red and all that. You hear me? Like, but I appreciate that.
No, for sure.
This is gonna be a universal topic when we popping today. You hear me? And the topic is her. You feel me? I appreciate you.
Nah, for sure.
I genuinely, because like when she say like-minded, we really like, it's people out there, right? And I ain't discrediting nobody, but there's people out there they got a different plateau the way they think. You know what I mean? She happened to be like that though. You know what I mean? Because a lot of women is great. All women are great until they defile themselves. You feel me? But that's a whole other topic. But I appreciate you. Where you come from though? Where you come from? Where you from though, Paris? Where you from? Where you born and raised at? Where you come out the womb from? Besides the hospital, I know.
I was born in Cincinnati. However, I've lived in Texas as well. Came back from Texas, lived in Ohio. So, you know, I kind of been back and forth. My family come from the South. Some of us, well, my immediate family was centralized in Ohio.
Okay.
But I got family and shit from out of town, so I'm kind of all over the place.
So before we go any further too, right, where can they find you at on all platforms? Because I know you're already into the universe, but it's still people that got to find you on platforms.
Yeah, for sure. They got to come see, come get this work, because up at K-Styles, all we do is put hot shit on the street. Come in looking one way, you're going to come out feeling a whole nother way. And I mean that in the best way.
I seen that. She got to be like, it's this, I think somebody came in with the map of Africa on they shit. You put it back together.
Did you just?
With all the roots and all that. No, I'm just, because it was a ball spot. And I see you did your thing on that.
Well, this should speak on that situation, but we're going to speak on that. But y'all can reach me at Facebook, which is at Paris Lee. You can hit me up on Instagram, Paris_the_stylist. Y'all can hit me up on there. Plus, I got some other things coming into play. So if you start following me, y'all will get the updates on all these new beautiful things that I'm putting together for everybody.
That's dope.
But to speak on the ball spot.
Gotta speak on that real quick, y'all. No disrespect, though. I just said what I said.
So up at the barbershop that I own with my brother and my dad is the head barber. We have 4 other barbers. Everybody fire.
Pops. Brody.
Hey, he on Facebook at Casey Pittman. He definitely fire. Y'all gotta go check him out.
Promo.
We also got Clue. She's fire. She's second up in the roster when you coming through the door. Then we got Kurt the gentleman barber. And then lastly, we got Juice the barber. So we got heat.
Damn, it sound like a strip club in there. Damn.
We just got different flavors. Everybody fire. Everybody specialized in their own way.
That's live.
But on this particular day, Kurt the gentleman barber, that's my cousin. Shout out to him. I'm at home getting ready to come to the shop. he called me like, cuz, I need you to look at your phone. So I'm like, what's wrong? He like, stop what you doing and look at your phone. So when I look at my phone, I see this gentleman's head and his bald spot. It looked like somebody had just ripped his hair out the follicle.
I seen it.
So I'm immediately distraught for this person because I'm like, what happened? So I call him back like, oh my God, what's going on? So he run it down to me. He like, I don't know. He want to reattach him. And I'm like, reattach it to what? There's nothing there to reattach it to. I'm on my way, like immediately. Some people, you know, we live in a world with social media. People like to pick up their phones or like make a joke out of somebody else's pain.
Right.
I'm not that type of stylist. Like, I understand how devastating it is for anybody to lose their hair, let alone a man who's been growing his dreads for 15 years, hair down his back. So I'm looking at it as an emergency because as a stylist, that's my core of what I do. Like, I'm here to make you feel better about you. It's not about the money. The money come with it because that's my, you know, this is my lane, this is my career, but it's not about the money. Like, I'm here to transform the person.
Dang.
So I'm immediately on my way. I shoot there, and this grown man is in tears, y'all. I'm talking about distraught over his hair, and he like, I don't know what I can do. And I'm like, just relax, come to the back. You know, the barbershop wasn't the place for me to kind of try to help get him together. Because amongst men, y'all always want to say, so, ooh, I'm so macho, like, I ain't tripping. You know, he like, oh yeah, my bitch fucked my hair up, fuck her. Like, he tried to make it be cool, but I could tell he was devastated. Like, it was a devastating situation. So I took him to the salon, and the salon is a lot more of a softer vibe. I put on softer music. The colors are different. The vibe is different. So I was able to kind of get him together. I gave him a good shampoo, you know, and I'm like, shit, I done seen bald spots. I can cover this motherfucker.
You just worked your magic.
I can cover it. I got to pull this shit out. I ain't gonna tell y'all my secret because that'll give my sauce away. However, I got that post on my page. I gotta go check that out. You can't even tell it's a bald spot.
But I seen it. That's when I knew, like, it ain't even that I knew, but you know, like shit like that, right? Like, that's impressive. Cause like, people would give up. Like, listen, and when I kept rubbing my shit, right? I mean, I can grow hair back. I just feel like I look better bald, and I feel free. But I'm about to grow my dreads back. I don't give a fuck if I look like alien and all that shit. I don't give a fuck about that
Not
shit.
an alien.
ESTG, I don't care if I look like, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's my dog. But nah, like, but with your skill, right? Growing up, as far as like, did you know that's what you had wanted to do? Or was that just something that just you came into? As far as was your childhood a nice upbringing? Was it a cool upbringing? Because you know, your childhood defines how you is in your adulthood, whether you let that shit make you or break you. You see what I'm saying?
Nah, for sure.
So like, was your childhood a make or break moment, or you know what I mean? Can you elaborate, please?
Yeah. So as far back as I can remember, I've always had my mother and my father. They had me young. You know, so when I was the baby on my mama's side, I'm her youngest. She got 3 daughters. And then on my dad's side, I'm his firstborn daughter. I had an older brother. Shout out to him, my brother Slay. And to speak on him, he's an amazing person. Like, things that my brother has sacrificed or put in place to better his family is a whole nother topic. I could talk about him all day. But my upbringing, my mom was always strong, you know. I didn't necessarily ever go without. I didn't say I have a silver spoon in my mouth. But my mom worked hard. She had a village of people that helped her anytime she felt she was going to fall short. And then on the other side of things, I was the first girl for everything on my dad's side. So I was the first granddaughter, great-granddaughter. Like, so I was a big thing, to put it that way. But growing up, you know, I always knew I liked to feel pretty, look pretty. I would get into my mama makeup with red lipstick drawn on walls, makeup, lipstick all over my face. Or like I was just telling a boy, like I used to climb up on her dresser and get the Vaseline and I'd be putting it on my eyelashes and shit. And she'd come in like, what are you doing? But I always just gravitated to that. And then my dad's sister, my aunt, I've always been really, really close to her. Shout out to her, my auntie Nova. She's amazing. But growing up, she was a braider. So my aunt kept my hair braided, kept me shopping. Like during the summertime, I'm with her. So I had like a village of people, and my mother did hair too.
Right.
Back in the day, in the 80s and shit, my mama was sewing a sew-in with regular needle and thread before they was doing sew-ins.
Damn, so that shit been around.
And my dad is a barber.
Oh yeah, give us credit for that then. Yeah. I ain't even know that.
My mama was doing it with a regular needle and thread back in the day, splitting her tracks.
Damn.
And doing all of that. My mama was doing that in high school. So ultimately, my dad, when I was a little girl, I remember my dad having girls. Like, he has a lot of girls.
Right.
So he'd get the water with the grease, with the brush, put that damn brush down. My daddy knew how to do ponytails. Like, it's just in my blood. Like, my lineage somewhere, somehow, we have just had a gift with natural hair, just self-care in general.
Because that's why I compared the cosmet, like, you know, you consider the cosmetologist in that field. But I take the, I like to break shit down. But I like cosmos, which is the universe, you know what I mean? Because, like, hair is so powerful, right? Where it's like, hair is like it's a channel to the world. Like, for real. I'm just learning this, where hair really, like, it's like a GPS to life, your environment. It lets you know, like, where to go. Yeah. Like, it's a tune. So, like, I compare the two now, like, damn, cosmetologist, hair, because that shit people really ain't want us to know. Like, you know what I mean? Even with my hair gone, right, I still feel the universe and the earth, right? But I really want to grow it back, but I know my beard, like, I'm about to just go ahead and just do me, because I understand the power of hair now, you know what I mean?
Hair is your antennas.
What? Basically, we a car.
And our hair grows upwards, so that tells you something. And other people's may grow on other.
And I was speaking on that with the shock waves and all that though. Like, especially when you start opening up like your different like thought processes, because it's certain processes that the mind goes through to even be into that field. Because cosmos, for you to even work on somebody's hair, right? That's energy given off whether you like it or not. That's why she was just telling the person during the break where. Having too many hands, I know you said that, having too many hands.
Having too many hands in your head is not good.
But don't that make sense? Because there's certain people that got bad energy, that's, you know what I mean, for real. Like, and that's transferring to you, but they do make sense because that's the connection that we have with these people.
I check myself every day before I walk into that shop.
That's live.
If I'm having a bad day,
it won't work. Or you will check yourself.
Now I gotta go get myself together because naturally, they can feel what you giving off. They're not here for that. It's not about me. I'm giving them a service. And my job is to make this experience the best experience possible so that they want to come back. Right. So ultimately, self-checking is very important. Like, you have to be able to check yourself. We're not always right.
Period.
We're not always right. Period. And not only are we not always right, we're not always accountable. Right. Like, when you learn to check yourself, your growth go through the wind, like it go through the roof, because at the end of the day, like, you don't have to wait on others to acknowledge your faults. You acknowledge your faults yourself. Right. Like, it's necessary. Right. And self-development. Like, if you really want to be yourself, and I'm so happy we're speaking on this because the cosmetology world right now is out of control.
I already know.
It's people that don't love to do hair. They love the money that comes from the hair. So the reputation that our beauticians are starting to get is, oh, I'm going to charge you $300, but when you come, I'm going to be late. Or I'm a reschedule on you last minute. And I'm not going to accommodate the fact that I've already charged you a deposit. Like, I'm 13 years in the game, licensed, and I do not charge deposits.
Y'all hear that?
I don't judge others, though. You got to get your money.
But it's going across the screen again.
But I don't charge deposits because, to me, if you coming, you coming. If you don't come, okay, now I just got a free hour on my hands. Yeah, I could have had somebody else in that spot, but 9 times out of 10, if you really are invested in your business, it takes up a lot of your time. Right. So to get a free hour and a half, and
you do something else.
You go grab lunch that day, and that you may not typically be able to do. Like, I just switch up what I'm doing because if it's coming, it's coming.
That's dope.
And that keep the drama down. Right. We got different groups where people be like, they'll talk about somebody, then get them their deposit back. That's not fair. Right. If you canceled on them, get them their money back.
So you can tell offhand, business, right? Because I do practice this, and I go by this, right? Ownership, a bad motherfucker, right? But what you got with it, it's the principles behind the ownership. You know what I mean? And that's what I love, because I stand on business. I love that shit. Like,
it's necessary.
It's necessary. Like, so you can tell your upbringing, right? Pops for sure gave you the MLB, the NBA, the NFL.
My daddy definitely.
Period. NHL.
My daddy the GOAT in so many ways.
Shouts out to Pops.
Shouts out to my daddy. Cause my daddy definitely my mother gave me the values of a woman. Like, I know what a woman look like. I know what a woman role is. I know how she's supposed to move, how she's supposed to do things. But I also know what to submit to and what not. You know, and ultimately, like, my dad, through his trials and tribulations of his life and him just going through things and relationships that may work, he always let me know, like, you don't let a man do this to you. I remember riding around the drop top with my daddy on a sunny day, and he'd just be giving me game, and I'm like, hey. Yeah. And I'm sitting there like, why is my daddy talking to me about this? But it ain't hit. You know, it goes down into your subconscious until you need it, until a situation arises. And you're like, damn, that's what my daddy was talking about. Now I know how to dodge a bullet.
Period. And that's respectable because
and I know how to walk away
because
like don't serve me.
Like, that's respectable because in today's society, like, especially a lot of fatherless women that grow up to, like, the bitch word is not a respectable word. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people grow up to be so disrespected where they feel respected. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Where you need, like, that's why, like, I got a daughter. Man, you see how I am, man. Listen,
yeah, you
my daughter,
your baby.
That's my
kids are everything.
That's my, like, my universe. Like, I feel like my heart really started beating because like I always feel alive, you know what I mean? Even with my family I got going on, my woman and my kids. But it's like when she came a part of me, because man, I just felt like, damn, my heart it got an extra boom, 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 boom. That's what got me on the journey that I be on.
Like said, having a daughter, it changed.
Yeah, it make you,
man.
It really make you take accountability of you as a man, because like me personally, like, I ain't perfect. I done disrespected a lot of women, and I ain't perfect. Even my woman I'm with, right, we done disrespected each other, and I done disrespected her. It's to the point, not I don't know, out of order. I'm just saying to the where even like once out of 100 still ain't respectable, because that's a woman, man. Mm-hmm. Like, and like sometimes, but that's what, like, that was the old me, because I was clouded about
but
bullshit.
But that respect gotta be reciprocated too.
It's gotta be, hell yeah, as a woman, yeah. But like, before I got on this journey, right, I understood that the food was really eating me to the point, like, my thought process, for real, after I argue, when I did argue, I go eat. And I used to be like, man. But then, like, after just waking up one day, like, bro, fuck this shit. I'm about to see if this really works. Cause that's the whole idea with me. I like challenges. So I'm like, with this fast and shit, I'm about to see if this shit really work. So like when I started changing, I ain't switching subjects. I'm just saying, like, with the respect for a woman. Sure. And, like, even when my daughter came, because my health always been a part of my life, but it really got deep. Like, because I looked at my daughter's eyes one day and I started really researching this shit. Like, man, that shit they gave us into the televised, that bullshit, tell live vision, that shit lies. Like, and then I started really seeing life at a different angle. Mm-hmm. And when I came out of body and really like, oh, I'm tripping. So now, like, my daughter is my world. So like, disrespecting a woman, I don't be on that shit. Now, I be times I ain't perfect, where I be wanting to just like, bit. But it be like, nah, you know what? Like, I ain't, cause I ain't.
Because it's very important for you, like, being to understand. Like, sometimes I know it's hard for us to deal with each other in life. Sometimes the balance of a man and a woman can be complicated. Yeah. Like, but ultimately, like, your karma doesn't always. It's not always gonna hit you.
Right. I like that.
So like, if you dog women forever, and
it might
let's just say you got 5 daughters.
Woo! They get a nigga like you.
Listen, and when she gets grown, you have to literally watch your daughter be subjected to the manipulation or whatever tactics that you use to give it you when you was at your prime. When you young and you not doing it maliciously, you just living and not really knowing how to balance. You lie and you manipulate because you like different things, and at that time you can't really centralize it. So you fucking with her, and her because they all serve a purpose. But when you get older, you typically start to look for a woman with all those qualities. And then you settle down with her. You know what I mean? So a lot of the times when the men are young, women's hearts be caught in a crossfire, but in their defense too, they still learning, just like we still learning. But because we typically are hit the brunt end of the hurt because we're solely emotional, it's harsh. You ain't shit. You feel me? Like, damn, you throw me through the mud. You was fucking her. Like, yeah, it's shitty. Like, it's not okay, but we don't communicate to just say, like, I love you, bitch, but I gotta go fuck her. Like, I gotta still do me. But you giving her a choice, though. Like, but we was too young to understand what that is because we were never taught really how to communicate. Like, the breakdown in communication in black families, period, is not really there. You talk, but we don't talk.
So like, speaking on that level, right, I can tell you, keen. You're very keen. You're very keen, right? So speaking on that level, like, to where you at right now, right? What made you like? I know you said you grew up in it, but like your passion, like this is a real passion for you, right? And is this a passion that's gonna be everlasting? Because I know you open to the universe now. You damn sure woke. So is it other ventures that you driving out to, or you staying focused just solely on just your passion? Because you're an entrepreneur too. Cause I remember we was building on some shit like on a
business side.
Yeah.
Cause I'm gonna tell y'all something. Like I have always had a job. My first like legal job, I was like 14.
Right.
I've always worked.
Right.
So I've always done hair. I went to school. When I got done with school, I got my hair license. When I got done with my hair license, and I did my high school diploma and my hair license together at the same time. I went to a trade school.
Okay.
So once I got my license, you know, I got into the world, but I was always used to having a job, so I felt like I needed that security. So over the last 9 years, I worked for a marketing firm, and I worked my way up, you know, worked my way all the way up, making great money for a single 28, 29-year-old woman with no kids. Like I'm living good.
Right.
And then I got laid off. So I got laid off from my job.
Okay.
And typically, I was 31. So I got laid off at 31 last June of 2022. They called me and they just let me know I was laid off. So I'm like, okay, I'm not working for nobody else.
Period.
I done gave them 9 years, but I ain't really know how to run the play.
Period.
Because I'm so used to having a job. So that's like shell shock.
You was getting out of that mind
So they offered me unemployment. I'm like, I ain't never had to do this shit. So I go apply for it. Man, dude, this is a job I was making like $65K a year. So that's a big chunk of my income gone. So I got some savings, but you know, what the fuck, you know what I'm gonna do. So I'm like, let me apply for this little unemployment till I figure out what I'm gonna do, man. They said something like $318. They only approved $318 a week. After taxes, it was like $298. I was like, what?
Man, who the fuck gonna live off that?
Man, and I'm talking about how can you give me, I felt like I didn't have a choice because I thought that you kind of negotiate.
Right. That's $1,200 a month.
That's nothing. What the fuck? And I've created a lifestyle around my income. You know what I mean?
That's lying.
So I'm like, I literally, I'll no lie, that night, I got on my knees and I talked to God like, all right, I already was thinking about quitting. This is the crazy thing. I was already in my mind like, because July 23rd, literally a month after I got laid off, if I would have still been working for them, I would have been there for 9 years. It would have gave me 5 weeks to pay vacation time, a salary increase. It was a whole bunch of things. So I'm like, I'm going to take all 5 weeks of my vacation, take that, find a spot, find a shop, and then I'm going to quit. But that didn't happen. They fired me like a month before. So
after 9 years.
After 9 years. And no severance package, no nothing. They were just like, see ya.
See what I'm saying?
Raw. They hit me with that raw shit.
See what I'm saying?
But like, listen, I work my best again under pressure. When my back up against the wall, I always show myself some shit.
That's the goddess in you coming out.
That night, I'm like, what you gonna do? So I pray about it. You know, me and God have a conversation, and I'm like, this gotta be a sign, because I just told you what I want. And I feel like my brother, he'd be on my phone like, sis, you need to come be at the shop. Because my brother had already opened up the barbershop. We hadn't even had the shop in the back yet. We was just solely in the barbershop. Me, my dad, you know, we building it all together from the ground up. Like, so I'm sitting there trying to figure it out. My brother's like, you gotta be at the shop, you working a job, like that ain't working. Like, how you gonna build your clientele to the point where this is all you doing if you at somebody else's job? So I felt like God just pushed me off the ledge, like, you scared, go. Like, and I landed firmly on my feet. And I just started promoting, and I took some classes. I start investing in myself. Like, you good, but you ain't.
I'm lit with Sparks, bitch, yeah. Rebecca Jones, all of my life, yeah. All of my life, promise to keep it gangster and gutter, all of my life. Got it out the mud, gotta sell drugs, this is all of my life. Never had a plug, then met a plug, this is all of my life. Gotta shoot the dice, roll them twice, I bet it all of my life. I've been thugging, getting to this.